Welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm Carice. We live in Northern California where we can garden year-round. We have bees, we have chickens, we have a golden doodle, we have 7 kids. We have a lot going on all the time. Today's video is all about planting your own onions. We plant onions. I am going to crack up at those roosters. I think they want to teach you how to plant onions. In Northern California, we plant onions in the fall for a summer harvest. I had an incident where I actually started all my onions from seed. These are onions that I grew from seed that I actually collected right here in this garden. I will link to a video that will show you how I started the seeds. It's full circle around here because we have these little starts that were from seeds we collected from our garden, and we are going to plant them back out into the garden, making these red onions a very sustainable food to grow. We try to do the same with white onions and yellow onions, and unfortunately we had a little accident where a critter, I'm not sure what, climbed up on my tables, knocked them all over. A lot of them were lost. So I'm going to try this year to start more onions inside and do a planting maybe sometime in January or February and see how late planted onions might work out or might not work out in our temperate zone. We are a pretty temperate zone. As I said, we're zone 9B, which means we do not get as cold as a lot of people up north, people in different regions of the country. We do get freezing temps. We did have a frost here. We have frost every year. Our coldest months are usually January and February, but I do think it's possible to plant some late onions out then and see how they do. I'm gonna show you step by step how I plant onions. It's very simple. It is something I think anybody can do if you have the space to let them grow for the long growing period they have. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to snip the tops of my onion starts. They kind of look like grass, don't they? I'm going to just snip the tops off. That way, as I put them in, they don't fall over quite as much. I really should have brought like regular scissors out here. That's what I usually use. Is this 100% necessary? No, but I like them just to kind of stand up a little straighter, and they do better that way if you snip the tops. Next, I'm going to show you how I wiggle them free. They are very, very forgiving. I just loosen them up from the roots and I separate them out. So here is a little bunch of them. I just separate them out. You can see that they're red onions because the bottom part that will become a bulb is purpley red. Isn't that cool? White onions, this part will be white. Yellow onions, it'll also be kind of a whitish color until you're actually ready to harvest them. Now, you come over here. The way that I space onions is I like to do them around the perimeter of my bed. That way I can grow different things in the middle of the bed throughout the different seasons. I plant them about 4 to 6 inches apart, and I'll put a little hole with my finger or a stick. I'll use a stick right here. And I will put the onion in just around to where the color changes. And then I'll just kind of press it in. It's seriously that simple. I'll go around the perimeter of my bed, roughly 4 or 5 inches, put it in to about the color change, lightly press down around it. Now, onions can be started multiple ways. You can start onions from seed, which is what I did, inside in little like berry clamshells you get from the grocery store that have the container on top, almost like a greenhouse, and then you open them up as the onions grow like blades of grass. You can grow them from what's called sets, which are little tiny like circular baby onions, and you just plant those in the raised beds, in the ground, wherever you're planting them. You also can grow them from starts, and what I am planting out today, I would call those starts. I started them from seed, but you might buy from somebody, whether it's a nursery, online, a local gardener, you might buy a bundle of starts. They look like little blades of grass, and that is what I actually plant into my garden. I don't direct sow seed in my garden from onion. I actually plant out the starts. Now, one thing I really like to do with both my garlic and my onions is I checkerboard them. So I have these 4 to 6 inches apart, and then I do one right in the middle as my second row, right in the middle of the two, right in the middle, all the way down. I might even make an extra third row this time on this bed is what I'm thinking. Now I think my seeds got a little mixed up because I think I have in my hand a yellow onion and a red onion. I don't know if that is totally visible to you, but you can tell by the bottoms of them, the seeds got mixed up. So that's actually kind of encouraging. That means I do have some yellow onions. Good news. So now you can see we're in the bed with my lettuce and my celery. And this actually shows you how and why I like to plant around the edges. I leave a little room on the edges to do things like onions and garlic. That way I can plant these kind of crops in the middle that will be completely harvested before the onions are ready. And we always have something going in each bed when the perimeters are alliums. Alliums are onions, garlic, leeks, chives, I think are technically an allium, shallots. That's why I do it this way. I like to do the companion planting, but I also like to save space. I think that's maybe the main reason is the space saving, growing as much as possible in the space, but then also the companion planting. A lot of pests do not like the smell of onions and garlic, and so this way helps like keep down those specific pests that do not like their fragrance. Every other in between these lettuce. If you can see how that goes, it will checkerboard with the lettuce themselves. I just want to make a note that this is November. This is when I like to plant early November. It's actually mid-November, but early November is when I like to plant onions into my garden. In different climates, you're going to need to follow what is best for your climate and your region. As I said, we don't get hard freezes where our ground freezes. Even our hard freezes, it's usually warm enough during the day that the ground is still okay. So we don't cover these beds during the winter. You want to look based on your region. Also, another note, these are long day variety. I have heard a mixed thing for our area. Some people say midday is great. I have never tried midday. I have tried some short day and still had success. So you want to go by the recommendations for your region. If you do long day, short day, or midday, all that means is how long the daylight hours need to be before they bulb up and finish up. And experiment. Onion seeds are about $3 for a pack of about 300 seeds. So they're very inexpensive for experimenting. And I would suggest, if you don't know and you can't find out from someone who's more experienced, then buy a pack of each, try them out, make an experiment, see what works in your particular garden. Always remember to water in anything you plant. It helps the roots grab hold in the soil, hold the plant in place. 231 onions planted. Most of them are red burgundy, or had another Spanish red that I saved seeds from, and I'm forgetting the name right now. A little bit of the yellow sweet onion, a little bit of white nebula onion, and we'll see when we harvest how many we really get of each kind. Thank you for joining me. It is super simple to plant onions. I think the biggest thing is the patience it takes for them to be ready, because planting in fall and harvesting in summer is about 8 or 9 months of a wait. We actually started these seeds inside in the summer, so that would make it almost a full year process just to get onions. But the fact that I was able to grow from my own seed from this garden makes it something super worth it, even if it takes a while. We love onions. Onions and garlic are two of our very favorite things to grow. And so it's something we enjoy every year. We love the process. I think they're beautiful. I love when they bloom and flower, not just to save seeds, but because the bees love them and they're really pretty. And also we love to eat them. This is pretty fun because I am almost done with all my fall planting, and I have been able to take you with me on almost all of it. And that is super cool. Thank you for joining me. And I love that we are like full circle in the onion journey. This channel I started in January when my onions were growing, but I showed you how to save seed and gather seed from your own onions. I showed you how to harvest onions. I showed you how to start seeds for onions, and now I showed you how to plant onions. So we've come full circle, and hopefully you are motivated and encouraged that it's something you really could grow. You could grow it in a raised bed, in the ground, in containers. There are so many ways and you can grow onions. I will see you really soon. I hope you go and grow something.